Well, well, well. Look who we have here, Akaza said menacingly as he walked towards me. I was covered in loose dirt from the cool earth with scratches from the tumble, healing themselves instantly. I pushed myself up as he bent down next to me, my eyes meeting his yellow ones. Yin, isn't it? He slightly said mockingly. He was obvious. He knew my name. There was no need for him to question it. Let's chat. I knew he was bad news. Yet I felt the same way about Douma when I first met him. All the upper moons were menacingly. Yet they each had their own way of drawing me in somehow. Along with that, it really felt like Kokoshiba was on my side too. So maybe, just maybe, I can trust Akaza for the time being? Muzan can't keep tabs on you like he can his other lowly demons, which makes him predict you can conquer the sun. But you already knew that, didn't you? I gulped. Akaza was even more menacing than Kokoshiba's presence, and that was probably because Kyokyo meant me no harm, but Akaza's aura made me start to worry. I burned, though. I stuck my hand out into the sun, and I burnt instantly, I said, nervous, hoping that it would be enough for him to leave me alone. Is that so? He retorted, as if he didn't care. He seemed interested in trying to know for a fact whether I could burn or not by his own doing. Yet I knew I wouldn't let that happen. I would burn. I just knew it. And if somehow was able to apprehend it, I'd make sure he'd crisp up right there with me. He's not human, Yin. It's okay to hurt him, I thought to myself as I came up with a game plan. He stood up from his kneeling position and cracked his knuckles as if he was going to fight me. This might be the first time I'm gonna hurt a girl, he mumbled under his breath, barely loud enough for me to hear. I froze, quickly standing up, dusting myself off, and let the veil that hides my true appearance come down. All I wanted to do was run, but I knew that wasn't my best option. The best thing I can do was to show that I'm strong like they all say, but I won't be able to convince myself, or him, if I can't convince myself. He picked the wrong girl. I began before was cut off. You know Douma is going to lose his rank, and Muzan will probably just kill him if you keep pissing him off. You are the reason Douma is distracted, you know that. Right, Yin? Akaza said spitefully, with a smile. My blood boiled within my veins, causing me to shake as sweat began to form from my forehead. He wanted to make me upset, so that I'd fight him with no self-control. But I can't let that happen. What do you know? I said through my teeth, trying to make myself calm since I knew it was all an act. Muzan trusts me, he said, as he put a hand up to his chest. But your dear husband is insensitive, backstabbing psycho, and Kokoshiba is lost in his fairy tales, daydreaming about a life nowhere Douma doesn't exist. My hands curled up into fists as I felt my aura growing stronger and angrier by the minute. Soon enough, I'll be Upper Moon 1 and your precious husband will die because of you. Muzan and I will get to walk through the streets of Japan with the daylight on our faces, just as it should be. calm down yet," I said to myself, trying to contain the monster that was rapidly growing inside me. But if there was a time to let her out, I wanted to do so now. "You know," Akaza began, letting his menacing aura drop instantly, as if he had completely changed his mind about hurting me. "You should just rule next to us. Be Muzan's queen. Doesn't that sound nice?" Akaza said, genuinely considering the fact that I'd agree with him. Douma flashed into my head, his gentle touch, his delicate words, his facade that he had tempered so well. I was only Douma's queen, no one else's, and it would be an insult to be called someone else's. But I couldn't help but let Akaza's words bother me. "He'll lose his rank. Muzan will kill him. All because of you." It was as if a swift winter gust relaxed my growing demon within me. I was no longer angry or fuming, but sad and upset with my selfishness. Because of me, Douma would lose everything. Because of that, these demons could one day take over the world and destroy humanity. "Sounds nice, huh?" Akaza attempted. To be honest, for a moment, I had forgotten he was there. The only thing I could think of was, what was I even good for? I hadn't been helpful to anyone but myself. But dying at the hands of Akaza or Muzan was last on my list. "Never," I said, snapping back into the dangerous state I was in moments before. I had to give it all if I wanted to at least incapacitate Akaza. I quickly looked up to the sky to see the moon lowly descending. Morning was quickly coming. "Don't worry, this won't be fun," Akaza began, even though I cut him off with my blood demon art. "Divine Perilous!" I yelled as my attack hit him head on. While he was unprotected, I didn't expect it to do much damage, but to my eyes, it made his eyes burst in his head, causing blood to splatter everywhere else, and stuck to the same position. My technique was first to create to help the body, but these new defensive ones I had created were to make the body work against itself. Divine Perilous barely worked on Douma, but since Akaza used his immense strength to try and counter it, it worked better in my favor. Normally this spell would hold Douma for 30 seconds on a good day, so I expected a minute's top for Akaza. I ran over to him and used a couple of martial arts technique I learned prior on his incapacitated body until he regained his control of his wounds healed. I bounced up onto a tree, hoping to dodge any of his upcoming blows. I knew they were coming because I could feel the rage emitting from its body the moment he could move again. "Air type," he yelled as he punched the air in my direction, sending me flying off the tree and hitting the ground hard on my back. He was right over my body before I could even catch my breath, with his hand balled into a fist ready to punch into my face. I was barely able to roll out, just in time to avoid his attack. While the pain was falling so hard finally subsided, I swiftly came to my feet and tried to run the opposite direction. When I felt another one of his air punches hurtling its way to me, it knocked me forward as I tumbled further than him. I wasn't nearly as painful as the last one, so I used my advantage to get away further. I had to hurry though. The sky was brightening and there wasn't any visible shelter around. I knew I couldn't kill Akaza, but I believed I could hurt him long enough to make my escape. There was one technique I had that could possibly do that, but I had to hit him directly into the heart. I used my ocular vision to look into his body to see exactly where his heart was, but as quickly as it came, movements made it difficult to get a clear shot. It was now or never. He jumped into the air, getting ready to punch one again, as I finally saw an opening. I brought my hands together and released the blood demon art. Technical blood. Type O. This was a technique that could tear the limbs off. Douma, when he let me practice it on him, yet I had never used this type until now. This was poisonous, and if shot in the heart, it would render demons useless for the time being. With Akaza being as powerful as he was, I figured I'd get 5 minutes, but that was enough time to run. Besides, I had to seek shelter too, before the early morning sun made its appearance. The stream of blood was aimed perfectly for Akaza's chest, but his quick reflexes almost dodged the attack, making me hold my breath in fear. But before I could stop it, it went directly through his heart, making him hit the ground just as I had. He tried to get up, to stand again, but his hand gripped his chest as the blood gushed out before his fingertips. He seemed desperate, because he noticed how the wound wasn't healing properly. I walked over to him and knelt down next to his motionless, disfigured corpse. That blood is poisoned, so if you hope to heal it properly for the time being, I just hope you can beat the sun, Akaza, I said menacingly as I stood up, ready to take off. Oh, and by the way, don't ever come for me again. Next time, I'll find a way to kill you, I said without looking at him. I ran quickly, as fast as my legs could possibly take me. Even though I used a lot of my energy, I had learned to ignore my fatigue, which proved that the human confrontation was all just a way to gain power. I didn't need human flesh at all, so why would I hurt the innocent? As if I needed any more surprises, a young man came flying at me out of nowhere, a sword drawn and ready to swing at any moment. I was stunned, but quickly held my hands out and covered my demon appearance as I yelled out a technique. Blood demon art, emodic smoke. A thick smog filled the surrounding area as the young human landed softly next to me, looking at me with confused eyes. He had black, messy hair and bright ocean blue eyes that caught my attention. He had an odd Hori as well, one red-sided and the other a geometric pattern that I had never seen before. We held onto eye contact for a second longer, as he looked at my human form with a puzzled look when I swiftly ran off, seeking shelter. The young man would eventually regain his memory, so I had to get out of sight immediately for the reason as well. The sun would be up in minutes, and I needed shelter. Out of the corner of my eye, I spotted a shallow cave that seemed big enough to house me for a day, so that I could make it back to the cult in the evening. I ran as fast as I could, the beams of light chasing right behind me, and thankfully I slid in just in time, beating my biggest enemy of all, the sun. It felt odd having anything to do but watch the birds come out in the early morning. I didn't want to sleep, simply because I didn't feel safe. Surely I had threatened Akaza into never finding me again, but that didn't mean he took me seriously, and demon slayers would walk in the daylight, so I had humans to worry about as well. But thanks to my thoughts, slept was unachievable. Douma's rank will be stripped. Muzan will probably just kill him. Your precious husband will die because of you. It's all because of me. You sniffled in a tear as you tried holding in. Hey guys, so if you notice there was a slight pause into a word, I'm trying to find it right now. What was it? There was an asterisk to a word, and there was a description that the author gave it to it. I just can't find it right now. Why is that? I swear to God, I just said it. But while I'm looking for it, I just wanted to let you guys... Oh, okay. I just found it. Gosh, why? Ocular vision. And down at the bottom, the author writes, when I first explained Yen's demon blood art, I had to put in that chapter that she didn't use her vision to see into demons, but I had changed my mind, lol, so she can now see into Akaza. Just making that clear. But going back to what I was going to say earlier, dang it, now I forgot. But I had just realized that I never told you why we went into Douma instead of Akaza. So, if you remember, a long time ago, I had made a poll for who was going to be next, either being Akaza, Douma, or Shinobu, which I don't think anyone's going to pick it after this, so she might just be a special little case. But my book that I was reading for Akaza is gone, so that's why we have Douma. So I'm still trying to find a really good Akaza book, because the one I found was I need it back because it was just. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and sorry for my long rambling. God, I really need to stop that. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Bye, lovelies. Mwah.